Hey, Truffles, you know what time it is? That's right. It's time for another Songs and Stories for Hard Hitting Times. I'm remembering the days before I went away, way back in the hills of old Vermont. And the orchard on the hill, I think I see it still, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Oh, tonight I long to be where the catamount runs free and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. There used to be a barn near the old fishing pond, way back in the hills of old Vermont. So many fields of hay now gone with yesterday, way back in the hills of old Vermont. For tonight I long to be where the catamount runs free and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Well, everything has changed, nothing stays the same, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Like that old brown panther's roar, you won't hear that no more, way back in the hills of old Vermont. For tonight I long to be where the catamount runs free and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. But when the rains came down and flooded many towns, way back in the hills of old Vermont, all the neighbors lent a hand for the loving of the land, way back in the hills of old Vermont. For tonight I long to be where the catamount runs free and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Well, welcome to another Songs and Stories for Hard Hitting Times. And Mariana's saying it's looking good. All right, nice and warm and frigid here in Vermont. All right. Oh, that's great. And Elaine Mead, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. It's always good to see friends here. And it is cold. Usually, I might have on a different kind of shirt, but man, it is cold. And I said to Mariana, I said, well, I think that this time, we just got to wear the old Vermont flannel shirt because it is pretty cold outside. Utah Phillips used to make a joke. He said it was so cold that they called the volunteer fire department in to to chop the ice to free the dogs from getting stuck on the fire hydrants. Yeah, it's that kind of cold. I mean, it is so cold that that when Dolina goes out, that her little paws are just kind of frozen. But she is a tough dog, and she will stay out even though it's that cold out. So we have to make sure that we call her back in again. I hope that you're doing okay. It's been a rough time once again. We were listening to the governor of Vermont and Dr. Levine and talking about the way that COVID is going. Because remember, folks, the reason that I've been doing this program here on Facebook Live was that Jim Lockridge from the Radiator Radio over in Burlington thought that we needed a little time to just have a little bit of fun during COVID times when it was hard to get out and see people perform, that by having somebody playing a little bit of music and telling some stories might make people a little bit happier during the day. But it's hard to be happy these days. I'm telling you, it's hard to be happy because everything keeps changing. You know, now, folks, we're in the middle of this new strain of the virus, this Omicron. I think that's what it's called, and it is brutal because it is getting people who are both vaccinated and even people who've been vaccinated and boosted. But it's getting far more people who are unvaccinated, and a lot of them are actually going to the hospital, and some are having a really rough time. So we send our good thoughts out to everyone who's out there who has a family member or is struggling with the COVID virus, because it is pretty scary. You know, I have friends that are coming down with it. You know, some people have been going out and playing for folks, be feeling like, hey, I'm vaccinated and I'm boosted and everything's okay, and then they find out that that's really not the case, that they're not quite okay, and they come down with COVID. So, folks, I really want you to really be careful. They're saying now that, you know, don't just wear any old kind of cloth mask, but to wear a mask that's more of a protective mask, or wear, you know, two masks, or, you know, you got to try and keep yourself safe. That's the main thing these days. And it ain't easy. It ain't easy because you don't know what to do. You don't know whether you should, you know, meet with some friends or not meet with people. We're right back to that kind of scary time again. You remember that time? Oh, that was, I mean, we're not there, folks. We're a lot better off now because we do have vaccines that most people who get it, even if they, you know, if they're vaccinated, that they will have less severe symptoms, is what we've been told. So it makes sense to, if you're not vaccinated, to make sure that you get vaccinated, because you don't want to be one of those people that ends up in the hospital and gets really sick. None of us want that, you know. So I thought that I would kind of take a few minutes to talk about that. And I'm going to grab another instrument. There's got a lot of instruments around here, as you know. I always like to start out with the white Gretsch. And somewhere around here, oh, is my banjo. Oh, my old banjo. I was thinking about that whole idea about how your instruments, let's just, you know, these days, we got these tuners, so we can kind of check and make sure. If they work. Come on. Well, they usually work. I don't know. And I was thinking about this cool, you know, this G modal tuning. I'm actually tuned up to A, but you know, when you have your banjo and you're usually tuning it, if I was in the regular position over here, it's a long neck, so don't pay any attention to that. But if it was a regular banjo, it would be your nut would be over here, and you'd be tuning to D, G, B, D, and G. But with that modal tuning, you tune this up to the C, and it gives a different flavor. Some folks call it mountain minor tuning. can hear that sound. Maybe I'll just do that song and then I'll do a few other ones. Now, you know that my friend Rick Nestler and I have a duo called the Ricks. And we were able to get together this weekend because we had a virtual concert for the Walkabout Coffee House, Walkabout Clearwater Coffee House. And we did a whole program about the songs that we recorded for the Steering Pete's Chorus album. And one of the songs that we recorded of Pete's that was not a typical Pete Seeger song is the song of The World's Last Whale. Now, when I heard a recording of it, it was just Pete singing and a little guitar. And I felt a different feeling about it. So I used this tuning to get that kind of feeling that I wanted. The song of the world's last whale as I rocked in the moonlight and I reefed the sail. It'll happen to you without fail if it happens to me. Sang the world's last whale. It was down in Bermuda in the early spring, at the underwater mountains where the humpbacks sing. I lowered my microphone, quarter mile down, switched on the recorder, let the tape spin round. But I didn't hear the grunts, I didn't hear the squeaks, I didn't hear the bellows, I didn't hear the shrieks, just a beautiful singing with a passionate wail that came from the heart of the world's last whale. Up on the land that they learn their fate. In London town they'll be telling the tale, if it's life or death for the world's last whale. So here's a little tip, see how you feel. Here's a little tip in the age of the automobile. If we could save our singers in the sea, perhaps we can save both you and me. I heard the song of the world's last whale as I rocked in the moonlight and I reefed the sail. It'll happen to you without fail. If it happens to me, sang the world's last whale. It'll happen to you without fail. If it happens to me, sang the world's last whale. The world's last whale. So with this kind of tuning, you get this mysterious sound. I'm just going to peek over here and see if any of my friends, my banjo playing friends, are here. Oh, Wally, fight on, good fight. There we go. And Rhonda Scott Merrick is here. And Al Poindexter, late, but he made it. Oh, that's good. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, yeah, so I have it in the G modal tuning up to A. It's a modal tuning. And I thought I would just kind of play just a little bit of an old tune. I don't know if I've played it here before, that old Cluck Old Hand. And I'm going to take it from a really kind of basic idea, you know, in case you want to play it. So remember that we're tuned up with this note up a little bit higher. So in this case, I'm gonna look at my thing. It says E, then I got a A, and then I got a D, and I got another E, and it looks like I got another A. So that's the tuning for this with the capo at the 2nd fret. And so the melody for the Cluck Old Hen, it goes like, you just slide it down to the 3rd fret, and then you hit that open string. Let's try that. And that's in the frailing kind of thing. We go bum 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 bum. Then we go bum bum bum. And the tricky part is we go make a I'm using my middle finger, thumb, middle, thumb. Then that's that claw hammer part. Hear it? Sometimes one, sometimes two, sometimes enough for the whole damn crew. Cluck old hen, cluck and sing, ain't laid an egg since way last spring. Cluck old hen, cluck and call, ain't laid an egg since way last fall. Now this is the fun part, you get to sound like a chicken. When she cackles, I throw her in the pot. Cluck old hen, cluck when I tell you, cluck old hen, or I'm gonna sell you. Cluck old hen, cluck and sing, ain't laid an egg since way last spring. Cluck old hen, cluck and call, ain't laid an egg since way last fall. Cluck old hen. There's another song that's kind of fun, that's in the same tuning, but it sounds so much different. See if I can do a little bit of it. was Pigtown Fling. I know. Yeah, I know. All right, stop it. This is Truffles here, folks. All right, stop it. Stop it. All right. Forget it. I know everybody from Cafe Kokomo misses all the pigs. Do you? Yeah, I know. And Truffles, stop it. Stop. All right, forget it. I'm putting them away. Okay. I'm getting silly, folks. I'm getting silly. All right, there we go. I had to do that for Rhonda and all my friends there. And Al Poindexter, everybody's got their pigs. Okay. Yes. Rhonda's there. I know you didn't expect that. And Patty Shannon, good to see you, Patty. And I'm like trying to scroll down here and come back so I can actually see things. And now I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this song that I wanted to do because see if that melody is still there. No, I think it slipped my mind, but I might just read it to you, sort of like, because it's such an interesting thing. This is an old folk song, and the melody just kind of left my mind because I had never sang the song before. So I'm going to kind of recite it. The name of the song is called Young Charlotte. Now it's a traditional folk song, and if it was a kind of a thing, a reading thing, I would read it like this. Young Charlotte lived by the mountainside in a lonely and dreary spot. No other dwellings for miles around except her father's cot. Wait a minute. I'm going to get the dog out of here. She's probably going to come right back. All right. Let's try that again, folks. Young Charlotte lived by the mountainside in a lone and dreary spot, no other dwellings for miles around except her father's cot. And yet on many a winter's eve, young swans would gather there, for her father kept a social board, and she was very fair. One New Year's Eve, as the sun went down, far looked in her wistful eye, out from the frosty window pane, as merry sleds dashed by. At the village 15 miles away, there was a ball that night, and though the air was piercing cold, her heart was warm and bright. How brightly beamed her laughing eye, as well known a voice she heard, and dashing to their cottage door was her lover's sleigh appeared. "Oh, daughter dear," her mother cried, "this blanket round you hold, for it's dreadful outside, and you'll catch a death of cold." "Oh, no, no," young Charlotte cried, and laughed like a gypsy queen. "To ride in blankets muffled up, I never would be seen. My silken coat is quite enough. You know it's lined throughout, and I have a silken scarf to wind my neck about." Her bonnet and her gloves were on. She jumped into the sleigh. Swift sped they down the mountainside, over the hills away. With muffled beats, then silently, 5 lengths at last were passed, when Charles, with a few and shivering words, the silence broke at last. "Such a dreadful night I never saw. My reins I scarcely can hold." Young Charlotte faintly then replied, "I am exceedingly cold." He cracked his whip, he urged his steed, 5 other dreary miles in silence passed, as on they dashed with nothing that beguiles. Spoke Charles, how fast the freezing ice is gathering round my brow. And Charlotte still more faintly said, I'm growing warmer now. So off they rode through the frosty air and glittering cold starlight, until at last the village lamps and ballroom came in sight. They reached the door, and Charles sprang out and held his hand to hers. Why sit you like a monument that hath no power to stir? He called her once, he called her twice. She answered not a word. He asked her for her hand again, and yet she never stirred. He took her hand in his. 'Twas cold and hard as any stone. He tore the mantle from her face. The cold stars over it shone. Then quickly to the lighted hall her lifeless form he bore. Young Charlotte's eyes had closed for aye, for her voice was no more heard. And there he sat down by her side, while bitter tears did flow, and cried, my own, my charming bride, you never more shall know. He twined his arms around her neck, he kissed her marble brow. His thoughts flew back to where she said, I'm growing warmer now. So that's the song. You have to look up the melody yourself because I played too many songs in minor tuning. I couldn't remember it. The Young Charlotte, and I found this version by Wilfred Bundy in an archive at Madison, Wisconsin. But it's known in a lot of different places in northern climates. And that whole idea of how cold it is outside right now made me think of this song, and I wanted to share it to you, even though I couldn't quite share it to you in the way that I wanted to. But this way, you got the song, and you can figure it out. You can go and look up Young Charlotte, and you can maybe sing that at the next time you get together with some friends. And I do hope that we will get together with some friends. And boy, the time has flown. I didn't get a chance to do that much. I'm going to just make sure everybody's here. Rhonda and Al. Okay, Rhonda, good. And how is Babaku? Rhonda's asking for Al. And Dolina is a troublemaker. I was wondering where she had gotten to. Well, Dolina has this thing whenever I'm doing a live stream that she wants to get into the frame. And that's, I think, what she was doing. So I'm going to see if I can play a little bit of something else here on the banjo, since we got this going. And then we'll sign off for this week, I think. Cold, frosty morning. Another good song for you to look up. Well, this is Rik Palieri here, and it is time for me to head out. Until next week, I'll see you all right here on Songs and Stories for Hard-Hitting Times, and we'll have better news next week, I'm sure. You take care of yourself now. Bye.